Hi Michael, I'm making this little video because I have a question for you about recording that I'm hoping you might be able to help me with. I've been kind of curious about doing voiceover work. I've been a subscriber to Audible. I've listened to audiobooks for many years, and I was kind of interested in, some of the actors are really great at it, and oftentimes, especially the authors of books, are oftentimes just terrible. Anyway, got kind of curious about it, and I thought, I got a little free time, I'd give it a try. So I'm put together a little recording equipment, and I'm not getting very good results, and I'm hoping maybe you can help me answer some questions. So I'll show you what I got, and maybe you can give me some input. I really appreciate it. Anyway, come on in, I'll show you around. This is my place in California. I've got this little tiny apartment. Of course, California is very, very expensive. I have this little small place. This is my living room, and this is sort of my home office. There's my computer and so on. And right here is my recording equipment. It's kind of my recording studio on a stick that I put together. I've been watching this guy on YouTube called Booth Junkie, and he's a former DJ, I think, and he does voiceovers, commercials and audiobooks and different stuff. And so I got some recommendations from him. Anyway, this is a place, and over here is this little storage cubby area that I've tried to convert into a vocal booth. I carpeted it. I put in some sound absorbing panels from Acoustimax that have, they're like 2 feet square with 2 inches thick of rock wool covered with an acoustically transparent suede cloth. And they look real nice, and they're supposed to absorb all the reflected sounds. I've also got an old microfiber blanket in there that I use really just as sort of a cushion to sit on. It's waist high. I have to crawl in. I put on knee pads to get in there. I'll show you this in a minute. But anyway, I've got that sound absorbing material in there, and here. Well, let me stop. I'll switch to handheld so I can show you a little bit about my recording setup. Okay, so this is my recording studio on a stick. I've got a monoprice tripod, a mic stand, and a boom. I have a Golden Age Project D2 large diameter dynamic mic, which I read some good reviews of, and it's relatively inexpensive. I think I only paid $150 for it. I have a Clark Technic mic booster attached to the microphone. That adds another 25 dB of gain to the mic. And I picked the Project D2 because it has good off-axis rejection and pretty quick roll-off since it's dynamic. I've got it hooked up to an Olympus LS100 digital recorder, which I picked for several reasons. One, it has XLR inputs. 2, when I got it, it was discontinued, so I managed to get this little recorder for, I think it was like $110, $115. Well, it was a pretty good price. It has phantom power, and that powers the mic booster. And it has A-weighted EIN effective input noise of minus 125 dB. So real low noise floor. Real cheap. And then I have a little. Anyway, now let me show you the inside of my little booth. Flip on the light here. So this is kind of a weird little space I have. It's as you see, it's off the floor, So there are the knee pads I use that I put on to get in here. And there is, I have a little kneeling pad there too to make it easy on my knees. But I have one, 2, 3, and over against the other wall, there is a fourth Acoustimax sound panel. There's a little, just an old microfiber rug, blanket I've got in here that may absorb a little more sound. And then there's a little additional storage cubby. So I've thrown some carpet in here to try and kill the sound. I've got this, and those 4 panels cost me, I don't know, $150, $200, something like that. And I was hoping that would be enough to kill the sound, but I'm still not getting good results. So anyway, I'm going to put on the knee pads, I'm going to crawl in, and I'm going to record a little bit with my sound setup. And then I was hoping you could listen to it and kind of tell me what you think I might do to improve the quality of the sound. I certainly listened to what I have on Audible, and what Audible gets is much better quality than I'd get. And I know they're in a professional recording studio most of the time. But I still thought I could get closer, and I'm not sure why I'm not getting better sound. Just to let you know, I am a subscriber to Adobe Creative Cloud, so I have access to Adobe Audition, which of course, has all of its post-processing power. Not much I know how to. I know how to do a noise reduction pass on a file, and that's about all. And I don't know much else about limiters and gates and that sort of thing. And I don't even know. I just know that you've been doing a lot more sophisticated recording than I've ever done. And while your expertise may not be anything that applies much to doing voiceover work, I was hoping you might give me some pointers. Anyway, I'll jump in and we'll talk on the other side. Okay, here I am inside the vocal booth, getting set up. Gonna get the mic in place. I got my knee pads on so I can crawl in without getting my knees all banged up. Get my mic adjusted here. And let's see, get the recorder turned on. I've got my text here on my notebook. And I think we're almost set. Okay.
Folder A.
Testing 1, 2. I guess I'll do that. We'll go into folder A. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Test. Test. That looks okay. Got my little dog clicker to mark edit points. If I need to go back up somewhere, I can put a click on the soundtrack and it shows up visibly when I'm in the editor. So here we are. We're ready to go. And I'll mark it on the track so I can sync sound. And this is an excerpt, the preface from The Pursuit of Loneliness by Philip Slater. Once upon a time, there was a man who sought escape from the prattle of his neighbors and went to live alone in a hut he'd found in the forest. At first, he was content,
but a bitter winter led him to cut down the trees around his hut for firewood. The next summer he was hot and uncomfortable because his hut had no shade, and he complained bitterly of the harshness of the elements. He made a little garden and kept some chickens, but rabbits were attracted by the food in the garden and ate much of it. The man went into the forest and trapped a fox, which he tamed and taught to catch rabbits, but the fox ate up the man's chickens as well. The man shot the fox and cursed the perfidy of the creatures of the wild. The man always threw his refuse on the floor of his hut, and soon it swarmed with vermin. He then built an ingenious system of hooks and pulleys so that everything in the hut could be suspended from the ceiling, but the strain was too much for the flimsy hut, and it soon collapsed. The man grumbled about the inferior construction of the hut and built himself a new one. One day he boasted to a relative in his old village about the peaceful beauty and plentiful game surrounding his forest home. The relative was impressed and reported back to his neighbors, who began to use the area for picnics and hunting excursions. The man was upset by this and cursed the intrusiveness of human beings. He began posting signs, setting traps, and shooting at those who came near his dwelling. In revenge, groups of boys would come at night from time to time to frighten him and steal things. The man took to sleeping every night in a chair by the window with a loaded shotgun across his knees. One night he turned in his sleep and shot off his foot. The villagers were saddened by this misfortune and thereafter stayed away from his part of the forest. The man became lonely and cursed the unfriendliness of his former neighbors. And all these troubles the man saw as coming from outside himself, for which reason, and because of his technical skills, the villagers called him the American.
Okay, so that's it. So I made the recording. I'll put the recording into the video so you can hear what I'm actually getting on my little digital recorder. But I've got a good mic, a good preamp. I've got phantom power. I've got XLR inputs, a digital recorder with a really low noise floor. I think it should sound better than it does. I don't know why. Maybe I need more sound absorbing material. I'm not sure. Maybe it's not dead enough in here. But anyway, I'd love to hear what you think. Anyway, I hope you're doing well and surviving in this pandemic craziness. And anyway, as a matter of fact, I've tried emailing you and phoning you, and I don't think I have a current phone number for you for some reason. My number is 510-725-2823, and I'll send this on Messenger along with my email address. So take a look at this, and if you get a chance, get in touch. I'd love to catch up. Thanks, Michael. Bye-bye.